preparation for this podcast, I got sent a whole list of all the things that you do, so if you could kind of summarize that into perhaps, 2 or 3 minutes, talk to us a little about what you do.
I'm Hilda. I'm a certified management accountant and also the head of the HBBA Group in England and Klan Care in Northern Ireland. So being an accountant, we are successfully running a care business. And in latter years, we diverted into the training sector because of my background in training and education. So I am working at a strategic level along with the rest of my team, which we've got about 10 to 12 in leadership and about 60 care staff on the ground.
Let's talk about care to start with, and then later on we can talk about the accountancy and that kind of stuff. And I'm really interested about the Northern Ireland sort of arm of it as well and how that came about. Like, what are the big challenges in care right now?
Wow, the biggest challenge is staffing. So, of course, since 2022, 2021, the Home Office the government came up with this remarkable idea of international recruitment. So, in all honesty, there were pros and cons to the whole thing. And even for us as a business, we've had pros and cons. We've met people from diverse backgrounds, but what we've done as an organization, we've been keen to train and develop the people who are working with us. And we are trying our best to be competitive. It's not easy because now with the international recruitment project stopped by the government, we are at risk of running in serious crisis for staffing because a lot of local people maybe are not keen to do the jobs. And we do accept that it's a lot of antisocial hours. But right now, we are not at liberty to take as many care packages as we would like to because we have to look at staffing constraints because we're delivering more than 2,000 hours of care per week with that workforce of about 60 staff. But now that we've got a good reputation within the region, a lot of our work is coming from referrals. So we're having to turn back local authority referrals due to staffing. And another complication was the increased national insurance contributions. This is putting a strain on all the organizations because the hourly rate that is paid by NHS and local authority does not quite complete or cover the complete overhead to cover those extra national insurance, and more so with the pension regulator also pushing through that there should be pensions for the staff, which they should be. But that hourly rate is becoming so stretched. And on top of that, we are looking at training and development. We are looking at social value, all on that same. So these are some of the challenges. But the thing, we are looking after over 120 people in the community. We develop relationships. We become the go-to people for those people in the community. And we try our best, to do the best we can. But the constraints are a little bit real.
So I just want to, let's just go back. So obviously you came to the UK 23 years ago.
Yes.
Can I just compare, like, perhaps care? I know it was 20 odd years ago. Lots of things changed, but can we just compare care in Zimbabwe to care in the UK? I mean, is it similar? Is there a care sector in Zimbabwe?
No.
So the real question there, once you can explain that, is like how you got into the UK. Because that's quite an interesting story.
Yeah. Well, personally, I come from a background where my mom was a nurse for over 35 years. And believe it or not, the first interview I got was in a care home when I came to the UK and looking for work and looking for something to get started with, was making a bed. But of course, I'd had it, making hospital beds all my life.
And you've been complaining to your mum saying, this is never going to help me. Why am I doing this?
There we go. So I find that a lot of how I personally was raised by my mom, because my mom had those standards, did not, it wasn't complicated to go into the care sector. And if you look at care 23 years ago, yes, we did have training, but it's not as much as it is now. Yes, there were health and safety standards, manual handling then and now is totally different. But I was privileged enough to work for a very high upmarket care home. So their training and their systems were in place. And I always said that if we ever had a care home ourselves, I would adopt the same standards and principles like I was taught in that place. So I would say that's how I migrated into care.
And then did you arrive in the UK with accountancy skills and qualifications, or is that something else that you studied? I'm just trying to get because you do so much,
My accountancy qualifications are coming all the way from Zimbabwe because I worked for Coopers & Lybrand, Ernst & Young in Zimbabwe. But unfortunately, the reality of migration is that when you come into a new place, you have to sort of start from ground zero and build yourself up. It was very challenging for my accountancy to be accepted here because, again, people have a kind of biased opinion because, people don't know about international accounting standards. You only have to do a tax paper for a country you want to live in and it's fully adaptable. But it wasn't that easy. So earlier years of getting into my accountancy, I was doing credit control jobs, I was doing costing jobs, sales ledger jobs. And in 2010, that's when I registered my accountancy business because I adopted the same model that we were doing for serving the SME sector at Coopers & Lybrand. And I thought I could do this here because I've always done books on the side, ad hoc, or through involuntary sectors and things like that, voluntary sectors. So it wasn't hard for me to get it off the ground. But of course, there had to be some adaptations because coming from Zimbabwe, there was sales tax here, there was VAT. So I remember those days there was Business Link. So I exhausted all the courses in Business Link as much as possible so that I could get into the know. And then in 2007-8, I then went to do a degree in accounting and finance at Birmingham City University. And after that degree, I did a postgraduate in education. And because I could teach accountancy as well, I got into a role for teaching AAT accounting. Taught for about 5-7 years whilst I was still doing the accountancy. But at the same time, the exposure to people, to care companies that needed an accountant also gave me insights to say, wow, 6 months later, I've helped these people start this business and I'm still on this side. Let me have a go. So then I reverted back to my experience that I had in the care sector, started afresh, looked at CQC requirements. So on the 11th of November 2015, I then registered HBBA Care, and this is the 10th year of operation.
Did you have all this kind of mapped out when you arrived? How has this come about? It's just an incredible journey.
I would lie if I say I had it all mapped up because, of course, the pressure of running everything. But I would say that, it's like trying to survive in water. It was a brand new environment. I didn't have any family here. I didn't have that much close friends. I had a good church network. That was all I had. And thankfully, there was a lot of CPD that was going on through the church as well. So it was just survival because I'm a person...
keep it in mouth above the water type thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think even in the business model we've adopted in HBBA Care, we provide domiciliary care, we provide supported living to LD, learning difficulties, supported living to mental health, and we've also got children. So it's quite a diverse portfolio of work. And I think it leverages us well. And very soon, hopefully, as a 10th year plan, we are going to be registering an actual residential care home, maybe for children, maybe for adults, but we'll see.
So what kind of personal, I mean, I'm sitting across from you now and you seem that you're quite modest and perhaps understated in everything that you're doing. Like, what personal qualities do you think has been essential in your ascendancy here in UK?
I think you've got to love people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'll give you an example within the community. You can have someone who is also alone and they might not have something to eat because maybe their money has come late or something. So the decision, and this is what I pass through to the carers, report it at the office so that we can try and put a plan in place. I know that we had to run around looking for food banks for a lady who had mental health challenges. And of course, she had no capacity to deal with these things. But at least we managed to put together a parcel from a food bank whilst we were now in serious dialogue with the social worker to say, what can we do about this person? Or else are they being neglected? But sometimes being the voice of those people we represent in the community is what makes our job work. Because you'd find that, I've heard amazing stories from my care team. Someone said, got into somebody's house. Of course, sometimes we're not contracted, but, they will go the extra mile. And I always see that those type of individuals in the company as well, who tend to put themselves forward, go the extra mile. That's one of the qualities that I have. They progress, and it's just being an essential part of helping the people we've come to serve.
Can you share some of do you have any particular mantras or beliefs that you use to kind of help you make decisions and get through like the tough stuff? Because I no doubt all this road hasn't been without issues.
I have one principle, and like, for instance, in supported living, we look after young people. And I said, whatever accommodation I find for those people must be fit enough for me to bring my own children. So that's my standard. If my own child cannot be in that accommodation, how do I put someone else in there? So I just take a lot of my own personal qualities and just put myself in the other person's position. How would I feel? What would I think? And I think it's helped me make decisions that help somebody else.
Where do those standards and those morals, those values come from?
Christianity. I'm a Christian. So in everything, I start my day, my first hour of the day, I'm in prayer and in meditation. And by the time I'm doing the school run, I've done my prayer. And I'm a firm believer as well in the Word of God in terms of the aspect that God wants us to prosper. So anything I want to do, I write a vision. I work with vision boards. So Habakkuk says, write the vision, although it may tarry, but wait on it, it will come to pass. So anything that I want to do, I put it on a vision board. Like the care home, I've been speaking about a care home for a few years now, and I didn't even know how it was going to come. But this morning, just whilst I was waiting, we heard that we've been approved for a first step forward. So I'm really thankful for that.
I wonder, you must feel really proud of that.
Yes.
What other things over the last sort of 20 odd years, or have you thought, you know what, I'm really proud of that?
The power to transform lives. For instance, if I look at from a staff point of view, we've got 60 staff. Each of those staff members have got spouses, children. And the impact of just one job having an impact on all those families, it's of significant. The fact that we've got 60 people working, it means there's 60 people contributing to national insurance. So we are also playing our part in contributing to the services, national insurance. None of those people are on benefits. No disrespect to people who genuinely need benefits, because the majority of people we look after are incapacitated. But we are also contributing to the economy. And if you ask me, that is an example of positive migration.
I want to just look at the Northern Ireland connection.
Yes.
And kind of, how did that come about? And did you sort of see an opportunity and think, you know what, well, let's pursue that opportunity?
There is a few people, connections, who are also running businesses in Northern Ireland. And we have worked with some companies over there in terms of helping with compliance. But to be quite honest, it's been a challenge in getting off the ground in Northern Ireland, because their systems are very different from English systems. For instance, to be a registered manager in England, you have got to have the level 5 leadership and management in health and social care. I've done that qualification, but 8 years experience with that qualification, the Irish authorities needed me to have the Irish standards. But at the same time, I can appreciate that from a compliance point of view, CQC and RQIA are totally different standards. So I do accept that. So we are hoping to, expand in that area as well. In the beginning, we wanted to mirror the care model we've got here into Northern Ireland, but because of changes, and especially after the impact of the COVID, perhaps maybe this side we will look at other areas as well, but it's still very much an open book. And how we generally work as an organization is we focus on what is needed. What is the need of that local area? What is the need of that local authority? And that sort of shapes the future projects and visions that we have as an organization.
You know, I've don't just listen to you now. I don't think I've ever met anybody that can mix the emotions of like dealing with people and seeing it from a person's, like their family's point of view, and compliance and legislation. Do you see that as like a bit of a skill that you have?
I would say so, but it's, to me as well, it's been a journey of personal development. I absolutely love what I do. People might think I'm highly stressed, or why do you do it? I know why I do it. I can see the value, because it's not just the value of benefiting the community, but the value of benefiting my own family, my children. And I've seen that it's been a mentoring kind of role that my children step up to. My daughter is shortly going to be qualifying as a social worker. Through the company, she's been able to do the degree apprenticeship as a social worker, but she will be flying out of the nest. But she's been a tremendous help in the last sort of 7 years and has been of impact and value. Then I've got a son as well. He's more business development. He's still young. He's still trying to find his way in the world, but he's got a good patch to learn from. And I've got a little one who's 10, who the other day said, "Oh, I want a job at HBBA." And I said, "Well, if you don't do your homework, you're not going to get a job, are you? You're not going to get hired." But it's also being very direct with your own children to say there's a standard. It's not just something that if there's a family business, you automatically just go in. So I do tend to sort of set the high standards for my children. And when we come into, like you said, the legislation and compliance, I think my background as an accountant, obviously we deal a lot with HMRC, we deal a lot with the audit. So audit in accounting, and in terms of if we're trying to audit in the care sector, we know what to look for. My teams will know what to look for as well. So it's a natural flair to actually be passionate about it and actually want to do it. But as we grow with time, I realize that I can't be all things to all men. So, we'll be streamlining as we go along. I don't know where we're going to be 12 months from now.
No, who knows? And so tell me about the training then. Like, what are some of the more popular courses or the courses that there's a great need for that you're delivering?
At the moment, we are a private training provider that is delivering level 2, 3, and 5 courses in health and social care. We are dealing with people who are self-funders because the challenges as a small training organization, it's not that easy to attract funding. And to be honest, we haven't had the resource. Like I'm saying, the training is the smallest business. We haven't had the resource to put as much into it, but I'm sure if I was only running a training business, we would be out there. So right now we are catering for people who are self-funders and who need to do the level 3, level 5. So we are tapping into the sponsored staff as well. So ensuring that they've got the bare diplomas, but obviously a level 3 qualification in health and social is a gateway into nursing. So it's not anything that is sort of mediocre. It's actually recognized qualification that can open at the doors.
Yeah, so someone might start in care, let's say, and then will they do they'll do this perhaps sponsored by their employer to get the level 3, or do they need to have level 3 before they get into care?
The good thing about the sector, these qualifications are assessor-based. They're not classroom-based.
Right.
So they're a lot dependent on the evidence of what the person is doing on the job. So coming from like tutor-led or tutor-delivered qualifications in the classroom, I'm more focused on work-based training because whether it's in accounting or it's in the care, because we are saying if someone is doing a level 2 and they've been asked, how do you deliver personal care? What do you understand by personal care? Give us an example. You've got to be in the job. So they've got to be in the job. But we know that people straight from school can do advanced diploma level 3 in health and social. And you'd find that level of entry, they would have probably a combination of both administrative and operational skills, because the challenge right now in the care sector where training is concerned, they're not developing future leaders to actually lead in care, because they can talk about apprenticeships for health care, but it's not quite translating into how do we train the future leader in care, which I think is very relevant for the development of the sector.
So, and are you working on a solution for that, or is it?
Yes, through our own organization, I'm a strong believer in promoting people and developing. We do skills gap analysis and fill in, identify the skills audits, find where the gap is and fill in those gaps. But obviously, assuming that we are perhaps dealing with someone who maybe would have a basic like a GCSE, because it's difficult sometimes when people haven't got the attainment. They'll get some of it, but to go a little bit higher, then there'll be barriers to entry based on the basic qualifications.
If you could go back now 20 years,
yes,
and offer yourself, a younger self, a little bit of advice.
Yes.
Looking back, through everything that you've gone through and everything that you've done, what would you say?
I would say that sometimes there's a key word I've learned over the years, and that is entrepreneurship. It's not really taught as such, but we are failing to realize that, like myself, I was never really cut out for a full-time 9-to-5 job because of my own diversity. But I'm thankful I went to BCU and Birmingham City University. They had a department that also was promoting entrepreneurship through a program called Speed and things like that. So they are recognizing that not every graduate is going to end up in a 9-to-5 job. So I would be passionate enough to want to spend the resource. When I finished my accountancy degree, I actually trained 65 people in my accountancy class on basic how to do the jobs. Because you'd find that someone can come out of a accountancy degree, but not know how to balance the bank, not know how to do the books. And of course, this knowledge is only if you've passed through professional accounting firms are you much affair with what goes on. So I was able to do that for my colleagues. And of course, I was also trying to find my feet. I charged a small fee for that and for my time. But, to date, I can still see where, people have got into the law society. There's someone working as a bursar at Perry Beachy School. They are Morgan Sindel. They've got into jobs, and that's what it's all about, creating that employability, which is something that I know is a national sort of focus.
So you talked about getting the mortgage on a care home.
Yes.
And so what's the next steps for that? And
so what we're going to do, once the mortgage has been approved, so it's going to be a run around town now looking for the deposit. We need to raise 100,000 soon. Once we've done that, we will then raise financing through another arm of the business, because I've been able to do that within my own companies. I've got 4 official companies under HBBA 3 and housing. So just having arrangements where within the businesses they can rent off each other, and we can move sort of like where we are paying high costs in rentals, and sort of like within the group, so that the money circulates within the group and it will be cheaper for us. But also what I want to do later is also look at attracting funds that we can plunge into the community. For instance, with Birmingham contract, we have a big challenge with kids not having a budget to go out in the community. Because there could be a social care budget for our carers maybe to be with them for only 2 hours or 3 hours. But the transport resource to actually get them from their house to somewhere. So we need to look at that, because, again, we've got to take the initiative to do that, so that we can try and get as many of our vulnerable children out there in the community as well.
It's just incredible how many sort of projects and people that you're infecting, improving their lives. Wow. Do you ever get tired?
I think it's a natural process for me. Of course, there are challenges. You can have a challenging person with challenging needs in the community that can tip the scale a little bit, but we do try. But we are also very reasonable in terms of our approach. We are not exactly just going to grab as much of the market share as possible, slowly but surely within the chunk size that we can chew and digest, and then until we get to the next level.
So I'm wondering if you could imagine all the the people that got small businesses that are watching this, and if you could offer like a call to arms or like a message to them, what you would say?
I would say, number one, being passionate about accountancy and being an accountant. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of having your books right. Don't take corners. Don't cut corners. Don't run the business off your back pocket. It doesn't work. But if you get a good accountant like ourselves, HBBA certified management accountants based in Solihull, you will have the opportunity to start a business, grow your business, scale it up, and actually do something with it. Because I think sometimes people are running business for the moment. They're not thinking about the future in terms of, what do I want to do with this business after? Is it going to be a legacy? Am I going to sell it on to someone else who can take it to another level? But people in business sometimes are not thinking about these things. So we try to have that holistic approach. We've got clients that 2018 were turning over maybe 148,000 in the care sector. Now those companies are turning over 5-6 million. Those are some of our biggest clients. But I value a lot the importance of starting from the ground, because I started with nothing.
Yeah.
So that's my story. I am not like Donald Trump, who was only given $1 million by his dad to start a business. Wow. We had to start from almost nothing. And I remember the first networking meeting I went to, I printed out some flyers and I was handing those out and just saying, hi, I'm Hilda. I'm an accountant. I can do your books, but we've come a long way. And that time the kids were just running around in my front room. And now we've come a long way. And I'm grateful for the journey.
You mentioned like gratitude, and I think gratitude is really important.
Yes.
So if, who or what are you thankful for now?
Oh, without forgetting, I nearly forgot. My dad was an accountant. So the accounting head, I get it from my dad. The healthcare side from my mom. But then I'm grateful for my closest family, siblings. We're working together in the business as well. Tremendous support and help. I'm grateful to God for enabling, because I believe that without that higher faith, I couldn't have done it alone. So I want to give thanks. I'm not at that stage and will never be to say I'm all human, all me. It's all about me. It's not. There is something greater. And the more I kind of explore within my faith, the more I can see that, all things are actually coming from above.
Hilda, can you give us, if people want to either get some accountancy help or perhaps advice or, maybe even work in the care industry, like,
yes.
Where can they go to?
Right. Where accountancy is concerned, I would encourage anyone who wants to get in touch with us to just book in a 30-minute free consultation. And we find out where we are and where you need to get to, and then we'll work a plan. And my number is out there on the internet. If you just Google Hilda Johanni, CMA, our numbers are online, but just for the sake of people who are out there, it's 078-245-54615. You can always reach me at that number. You can also go online. I've got a website, www.hildajohanni.com. I speak more in detail about my journey, my beginning, and where I am now. So if you're, it's called the Women Empowered Community. If you're a lady and you're looking to get help, and the reason why I'm working with ladies is that, we've got similar sort of problems, backgrounds, kids, balancing childcare and things like that. So I'm passionate to work with other women so that I can also show them how I did it if you're on your own. So you can sign up there for free and just join the Women Empowered Community. For care, please, anybody out there, we are always recruiting good carers, HBBA Care. So on the same number or on our website at hbbacare.com, you can reach out and someone will have a conversation with you about work. Even those who are only looking for 20 hours or flexibility, we're looking for that. But we are in the training sector as well. We do work with a lot of young people who are looking for work experience opportunities in accounting. So I'm always happy to sort of mentor those because that's my forte. I don't get to do my day job. But, if you're out there and you need help, just reach out. I'm sure there's something I can do. And if I cannot help, I will certainly point you in the right direction.
Brilliant. Is there anything I should have asked you, Hilda, that you want to talk about?
No, it's been amazing. It seems a lot, but
have you enjoyed it?
What it is. Yeah.
Enjoyed it?
It is what it is. And this is where we are.
Well, thank you very much. It's been amazing talking to you and hearing about you. And I'm hoping we can perhaps do a follow-up because the women, what's it called? The
Women Empowered Community.
Yeah. That seems like a whole episode on its own.
Yes, because you see, I've concluded that obviously I work on my business. I don't work in my business. So the power to mentor. We have helped a lot of businesses from zero to trading, start care businesses. We mentor some businesses when they get into trouble. We just provide solutions based on our personal experiences, because we are also keeping it real. It's not always been a bed of roses, but our journey can help someone else. So we provide support packages for people if they want to do that, and they can work with me or any one of my team members.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you for sitting down with us today, and the best of luck with your new care home.
Yes, watch this spot. Thank you so much.
Thank you.